I can't pronounce her name. Anyway, hey, what's going on, guys? So I came across this video. It's from the Bituation Room. Okay, it's Francesca. Is it Fiorentini? I'm pretty sure I've seen her on TYT. I think she is a TYT employee or former employee. As you know, or some of you know, I stopped following a lot of like TYT stuff and haven't really watched any of their coverage of anything for years now. But I have seen her before. She's very familiar to me. I did actually bit my tongue. I did actually see her on what was it? Piers Morgan. I did see that interview she had on. It wasn't her. It was her and Tim Pool was there and a few other people. I don't know. I just remember on that interview. I forget what they were talking about because it was a while ago. She was really insufferable. I just remember that. And she just came off very annoying. Like I don't know. Was she trying to be annoying? Was she trolling? I don't know. Anyway, so apparently she had an interview where Cenk went on her show, and I think she is still a TYT employee. I don't know that whole dynamic there. Whatever. But I did see that she was like freaking out. She was freaking out because Cenk did an interview, or I guess it was an interview with Charlie Kirk. I have seen that trending. I'm probably not going to watch that interview. It seems way too long. I don't care. Like I don't care enough to watch it. But if she's freaking out about it, I'm willing to bet it just has everything to do with the fact that Cenk even went on it. I guarantee you that's what it's about. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But something tells me again, and I'm going to agree with the majority of what Cenk is saying, because he's going to prove again that liberals, this liberal party, or whatever you want to call them, progressives, whatever you want to do to describe them, they've lost the plot. They've lost the plot. If you disagree with anything they say, they're going to label you. They're going to push you out. That is what I saw her doing on Piers Morgan. I guarantee you that's what she's going to say. So anyway, I'm just going to let it play. I may pause it in between sometimes, but we'll see. So let's see what she says here. Let's see what's going on.
It's like it's not an understatement to say that I've lost sleep over what's been going on. Been really upset, angry, and like wounded, if that makes sense to you. I have also refrained from tweeting at you, Cenk. I've refrained from doing videos about you without your presence. I've refrained from misrepresenting you. But man, on the inside, it's been rough. So I do want to ask you, I feel like we are in the precipice of a really perilous time of true authoritarianism coming to the United States. And someone like you, who has been such a leader on the progressive left, has such a massive role to play in this moment as a stalwart of resistance, as so many of these centrists are kowtowing to the right. And then I see you on the same stages with, and in the same rooms with, the right-wingers who are mouthpieces of said authoritarianism. And I don't believe that you are actually pushing back instead. And I think there's a project here. You're trying to find points of agreement. So what are you doing, and why are you doing what you're doing?
Yeah. So I appreciate that,
insane framing, by the way, just insane.
Having me on as opposed to talking about me and raging, etc., without actually getting into the full conversation. So, look, first let me acknowledge, Franny, that I get why people are concerned. So you've seen this pattern a number of times. So people think, oh, this is the beginning of the pattern. We know how that ends, right? So you see Dave Rubin go talk to Tucker Carlson once. You say, well, okay, he's defending our side or finding a point of agreement, whatever, right? But then next thing you know, he agrees with Tucker again and again and again and again. And then all of a sudden he's talking about how bad the left is and how, my favorite
he's describing grifting.
About how the forest fires in California started because the fire departments allowed gay people to join.
I don't know.
Wild.
I never heard that. That's funny.
Wild.
That is crazy.
And Franny, we've seen this movie many times, and me especially as a Muslim, because Israel always finds collaborators and to come out and go, oh, look at this Muslim guy. He says Muslims are violent, and it is in their book, and it's all their fault, right? And one of those mouthpieces. So I understand, guys, that pattern exists, and so why people would be concerned the minute it seems like you're taking the first step there. But it is possible to not do that pattern. And we are not doing that pattern. And there's massive differences there, right? So they let go of all their positions. We've let go of none of our positions. And people think this is after the election, but apparently, as you know, I've been battling what I call the far left for years now. So I think that's a perfectly fine area of disagreement to have within a movement. I know that some people think, no, we're not allowed to disagree, and any disagreement is heresy, right? And that's a core thing that we'll probably discuss here today, right? That's one of the issues. And so now, in terms of, so why am I doing it, or how did it come about?
Okay, I'm just gonna quickly pause it there. I really like the way that he framed that, the way that he pushed back on what you just said and described what he's doing, because I think it's true. It's possible. You can disagree with the far left, but that does not make you conservative, or that doesn't mean you're grifting. It is possible. It's literally. I know it's hard for that to get through to some far left wing people's brains, blue MAGA. But yeah, it's possible. Not everyone who disagrees with you is MAGA. Everyone is far right. Like, just get a grip. Like, you've jumped off of a cliff. Get a grip. Just listen for a change, and maybe you'll understand. Not everyone's grifting. Yeah, you can have you can have your like blinders up or whatever if you want to, or you can try to discern who's grifting or who's not, because I do think that's important. But you've worked, for instance, for her, she's worked with him. He just described it. I don't think how anyone in their right mind who knows Cenk could sit there and say that he is grifting. It's insane. There's no way, but I guarantee you she probably thinks that. I guarantee deep down she's like, well, he doesn't agree with me 100%. Therefore, he's grifting. Anyway.
So how it came about is when I was doing that protest run against Biden, I went on all the shows I possibly could, left wing, right wing, etc.
As you should.
And on the right wing shows, I was expecting what I always get from right wing, which is the Republicans are right and you guys are all evil and no points of agreement, just a bunch of robots, right? And what I started to see was they're not as robotic as we thought they were, right? And so there was like these flashes of like, wait, they actually genuinely hate Mitch McConnell. That's interesting. I know why. I know it's because Trump said he was bad, right? But at the same time, there's a second reason. And I know that a lot of people on the left don't believe it, but I'm here to tell you that I've seen it with my own eyes. There are actual populists in those right-wing hills, and they don't like the establishment. They hate the establishment. Now, they don't have the same opinions with us on social issues, cultural issues, etc. And then
I've made that same argument with my buddy. I don't know fully if he disagrees. He's the other voice that you hear in some of the videos sometimes, but there are populists on the right. There are. They've always been there. They're not just yapping when they say they drain the swamp and they don't like the establishment. Of course, there's social issues that you're not always going to agree with. You're not going to agree with everyone on everything. Like, it's just not going to happen. But just to brush them all off and not try, to come to some sort of agreement on things is just stupid, in my opinion. It's just dumb.
Genuinely hate war. Now, if Trump declares war on Panama and they all go along, then I was wrong. Okay, so we'll get to that too.
Wait, run that back.
And then they genuinely hate war. Now, if Trump declares war on Panama and they all go along, then I was wrong. Okay,
fair enough.
So we'll get to that too. And so more and more. And Charlie Kirk came on in the RNC, and this is the one that really threw me for a loop, and I couldn't believe it. He started talking about how bad BlackRock was and how private equity is buying up all the homes in America. And I'm like, that's what we think. That's what we say, right? And I couldn't believe that Charlie Kirk, of all people, was coming in our direction on that issue. And so I think their funding might have changed, to be honest. And so the right is not the monolith that we thought they are. And right now, since they've gotten past their robotic establishment, they're in a state of kind of chaos, a chaos that's not so bad, in my opinion. And you're seeing it today, like MAGA attacking Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. If they were a monolith and they were robots and they were a cult, that would never happen. Now, I happen to agree with Elon and Vivek on that issue.
That's true.
I was going to ask you, actually.
Yeah, but first of all, hey, there I am agreeing with Elon and Vivek. Why? Because they agree with us.
So this is about HB1 visas and allowing high-skilled professional immigrant workers who work in tech to be allowed in. The MAGA base says that that's obviously immigration and they want to cut down on that. But Elon and Vivek, again, millionaire and the richest man on earth, want that. Does that not fly in the face of some of what you've been saying about the base and how the base is actually great and the base has great populist ideas? One of those populist ideas, Cenk, is mass deportations, is stopping any migration, is getting people out of this country.
Yeah. So, Franny, it's a great question. And so that's why what's happening today is actually so interesting. Because number one, are we allowed to agree with anyone on the other side? Elon said terrible things. He backed that crazy radical right-wing party in Germany, etc. Right?
Yeah,
but
that's true.
That doesn't mean he's wrong about these visas. We've had that position on visas our whole lives, right? We agree with, or he has now come to agree with.
Again, I think I'm gonna let Cenk finish, but he's gonna. I'm thinking he's gonna frame this the same way as like they give the right or anyone who disagrees with them no grace. Once you disagree with someone on the left, just 1%. It could be anything. Anything else that you say, even if someone else said it and they would agree with that position, they're going to disagree. They're going to disagree. They're going to throw your whole argument away because you disagreed with me on this other thing, this other situation. They always do it. Like, I don't know why. I generally don't know why. I think it is because some of them are pretentious, but not all of them. Not all of them are this way. But I think the pretentious ones, hate to say, I think she might be a little pretentious. You know, it's hard to read body language, but just reading her body language, you could just see it. You could just see it, and like she just doesn't really want to listen to anything Cenk has to say right now. And he's telling the truth. Like, if she just left her echo chamber, maybe she would see it, but I doubt it.
With us, same with Vivek. Now, but what's interesting is so now MAGA, the populist base of MAGA, rebels against Elon and Vivek. So number one, that shows that that my thesis that they will rebel against their leaders is true. Okay. Now, do I agree
How
with
could you
them
deny
on
that?
this rebellion? I don't. But remember, just because they're populist doesn't mean they agree with us on everything. On social and cultural issues, we have massive disagreements.
Cenk is cooking.
Massive. I'm looking for the agreements on the economically populist stuff.
What the
so
hell?
On this one, they're anti-immigration. And so again, it's not a monolith. It's
Look at her face.
But overall, the mass of MAGA is anti-immigration, and I obviously don't agree with them on that. I'm an immigrant, and I'm first generation. I wasn't even born here, right? So all this talk of deportations, and now this crazy thing that one of them came out with denaturalizing people. That's just nuts, right? So, and I say that to their face in all the shows that I go on. I go, look, I don't agree with this. I don't agree with that. I think you're nuts on this, right? But now we do agree on some things: anti-war, anti-corruption, etc. Even if I know, guys, Trump is massively corrupt, and they've been misdirected. But within that chaos of the right wing, interesting different coalitions can break out, as you're seeing today with these different coalitions within MAGA. Yeah. So imagine if we had, this is really wild, right? But you've got to take a first step to be able to get to this ultimate conclusion. Imagine if we had voting blocks that weren't strictly Republican or Democrat or strictly MAGA or not, and we could then join the voting block, in this case with Vivek and Elon, and protect these visas, right? Or in another case, we could join the populist right
and maybe
block
maybe win an election. maybe, huh? Democrats, you like winning elections?
Prevent a war. Again, those are like huge dreams.
I think it's sort of a deal with the devil either way. I do want to just step back. I want to step back from the news a little bit and truly understand what you believe you are doing and who you believe you represent. Just really briefly, who you believe you represent when you go on these shows. You say we a lot, and I'm not sure who you are referring to when you say we. Is it yourself? Is it you? And is it Anna and you and Anna? Is it all of TYT? Is it the broader left? Who do you think you represent when you go on these shows to make the case about how there's commonality?
Okay, I'm going to let him finish, but I absolutely despise the way that she frames questions. I hate it. Because you can read through the lines. Read through the line. She's saying that he thinks that she's alluding to the fact that he doesn't represent them, right? She's already putting up a wall and separating him, her boss, TYT, progressive Democrats, from her. Who are you? Who are you? What do you like that? Why do they do this? This is insane to me. Anyway, I'm gonna let Cenk do his thing. Whatever.
Yeah. So great question again. So first off, for folks who don't know, Young Turks is the flagship show.
Okay, but let me finish. Of course he's gonna go to Young. Of course. I just did the jank thing.
Of the TYT network. So the TYT network is the whole left. So Franny's on the TYT network. This show's on the TYT network, and then at least on the podcasting side. And so Franny is to the left of me on many issues.
Clearly.
So is Jordan Uhl. So is so many other people, right? And so I never block anyone from stating their opinions. And I like that we have the whole range, right? And in the past, we've had David Pakman as part of the net, like the YouTube network broadly.
Insane.
But who's the we, Cenk? Who's the we? You've said these things before, and I have thoughts on them. But who's the we?
So that's TYT. TYT is that whole spectrum of left-wing thought. And as you know, Franny, we debate on the show all the time.
We don't. We really, like, I just want to be fair. Like, we don't. Because if we did, we would have had this conversation many, many times, but we don't. Number one, I am not the main host. Anna Kasparian is. Number two, I am rarely the fill-in host. Jordan Uhl has been filling in quite frequently. Number three, when I do fill in as a host or as a guest, it depending on the story is when we can actually sometimes maybe squeeze in 1 or 3 minutes of debate, but we have to keep it moving. That is the job. The job is to do the news. It's to get to all the different things. So I just want to say that it's very unfair to say that these debates have happened on the main show. Certainly not with me. Maybe once around trans issues, but I want to leave that aside. Who is we? Who are you saying when you say we?
He just told you.
But
he just told you.
Quick. But yes, but I've got
she's insufferable.
So my God. So we debate within that news story. Is it a shorter period of time? Yes. Sometimes I'll do longer ones. I did a longer one with Jordan Uhl and Jules Sulzdayev, et cetera, and here we are within the network, et cetera. So now that's TYT is the left in general. Young Turks is the flagship show. That's me and Anna, and so I would say that we, as in me and Anna, are maximum populist, but not maximum left, right? So I am maximum left on some issues, but not all issues. And so those are two different political spectrums. There's the left-right spectrum and the establishment populist spectrum. I mean, I now see Emma Vigeland defending the establishment, which is mind-blowing.
Ari, I want to leave that aside, but I just want to, because I really want to talk about what you are doing and what you believe you are doing. And I want to just explain, by showing, and I want to ask you what you think the goal is of what you are doing. But here was a moment where you were on TPUSA's on Turning Point USA's conference, and Charlie Kirk, who is a Christian nationalist, he's an avowed Christian nationalist. He TPUSA has had wildly racist and white supremacist associates.
Before she does this, full disclosure, I know who Charlie Kirk is. I've not followed him at all. I don't know about like any of his Christian nationalist positions. I might have heard something here and there over the past couple of years, but that's not a sphere where I associate with those people. I don't. So I do know that he's Charlie Kirk bad, and anyone against Charlie Kirk good. that's my extended knowledge when it comes to Charlie Kirk. Like so. And TPUSA and all this,
inviting people like Nick Fuentes to speak.
I do know Nick Fuentes, and I've alluded to him in other videos in the past where I say, I forget which one it was, where I was saying there are certain people on the right. Oh, podcasts. I was talking about podcasts with my buddy. I was like, there's some podcasts and shows that Kamala and the left definitely shouldn't have gone on. And I don't know if he invites guests, but he was who I was talking about. He should never in no way go on that show, ever. So anyway.
No matter what you think of his thoughts on BlackRock, here is him asking you about left media. And I gotta say, Cenk, this one sucked real hard for me. And you also, I think, have been using these opportunities to talk a lot about the left to the right.
I think the left has some work to do in developing over-the-top media to be able to bypass the main networks.
Yeah, so we have TYT as a giant network, but we have a lot of great progressive and populist shows that are not part of TYT that's in the left-wing ecosystem.
I just want to stop and say I'm excited to hear which ones you like, given that you just sort of insulted Emma Vigeland just now. I'm curious which ones you actually do.
How did he
still support
insult
that aren't
Emma
your own,
Vigeland?
But I'm
Oh
gonna
my
keep
God.
going, Cenk. Hang on.
Insufferable.
I don't think that that's the issue. I don't think that there isn't enough shows. I think that there's a couple others. One, on the right, you guys do a great job of coalescing. Okay, so you do a couple of things well. You work together well, and you're more welcoming, if I'm being honest.
Oh
We're
my
glad
God.
Cenk's here, right, everybody?
And a lot of people on the left know this as well. If you agree with MAGA 5%,
Oh
the
my
answer you
God.
get is welcome. Right?
Oh my God.
Come join us, right? On the left, if you disagree 5%, they go, get out of here. You're
Oh
a
my
right-winger,
God.
you're a fascist.
Oh my God. Look.
But if you push it up,
It could be 2%. It could be 1%. Everybody, anybody who has ever followed politics, left wing or right wing, especially left wing though, if you leave the left wing ecosystem and disengage from all politics, and then you come back and you disagree with them at all, I'm telling you, you will see it. You will see it. He's not making it up. So many people have said this. I've been saying this for years. I've been saying this exact same thing for years. But I guarantee you, because I'm looking at her facial expressions, she's hearing this and it's going in one ear and out the other. That's all they do. They don't listen. They do it every single time. I cannot believe he just said that. I cannot believe it's true. It's true. You know, I'm gonna let it finish, but good Lord, man. Good Lord.
people out and you guys welcome enough people in, eventually you win the popular vote. That's what I
That's what they just did.
And that's what happened.
Oh my God.
Okay, so
Oh
there
my
you are,
God.
and you know,
Yeah, love it. Stick with 100% of what I just said there.
Good.
100% right about that. So
Good.
let's discuss.
yeah, let's
Yep.
because you had your say there, and you've been saying various degrees of that same thing. And I gotta say, like, I watched this whole, I watched the whole clip, and it started off, and I was like, this is pretty good. This is good. Like, pretty good interview.
Great.
You know, I like that you're sitting down. It wasn't bad. This moment, like, truly a part of me died when I watched this.
Wow, I can't
That?
believe that.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
go
Oh,
ahead.
so
That?
super, just like shriveled up and died, floated away into the ocean.
Dang, the
Here's
truth
what
really
happens.
hurts, huh?
Couple things. He asks you about left-wing media and why there isn't more left-wing media. Which already, as you are there, you know, in the sort of kingdom of turning points, is like, that's such a dig. Like, why are you guys so weak is effectively what he's saying. And instead of pointing out the way that TPUSA has been bankrolled by Republican mega donors out of Chicago and many other places for years now, and talking about how the Daily Wire was funded by the fracking brothers, the Wilkes brothers. Now they're fishing for new, you know, investors, whatnot, but that there is so much money on the right. He handed this answer to you on a fucking platter, and all you said was, you know what? You guys are really good at being welcoming. People just like you. Cenk, they've got all the money.
I didn't say people just
What
like
are you
you. That's very
talking about?
Okay,
That's
I got who cares, bro? I've said this a million times too. Who cares? So what? He did say that they have a bunch of money backing them. So like, what the? Who cares? Like that's the moment that killed her. That's what made her die inside, because he didn't say that the reason that there isn't more left wing media is because they're not backed with as much funding as the right wing. Okay, that killed her. You know what? You know why it killed her? It killed her because it's not because he didn't say that. It killed her because he told the truth. Because he said that they're not welcoming. He said that they're closed-minded. He said that the right is what the left should be when it comes to different voices and different opinions, but they're not that. It's not that he didn't say that they don't have funding that killed her inside. It's because he told the truth. That's what killed her inside. She's just yapping. It's nonsense. This is stupid. I'm sorry. This is stupid.
What you're good at
Good
coalescing.
Lord.
And here's my question to you about so that's just number one on the media, because that's
What did it say? Hit dog holler or whatever it is. That's what she's doing.
because I'm in media. But on the 5%, if you disagree with MAGA 5%, they still welcome you. How did that work out for Liz Cheney?
I don't know if I'm gonna get through this. I was only gonna watch a little bit of it. How did that work for Liz Cheney? Liz Cheney? And, didn't she vote for Kamala? Wasn't she part of like trying to get Trump in jail? She was anti-Trump. That's 5%? That's not 5%. That's not 5%. This is insane. This is crazy. This is crazy talk.
Yeah.
5%.
So look, is there a part of MAGA that'll push you out?
Francesca.
Of course. That's what we know
When
MAGA for.
when did they push?
This is what an echo chamber does. There's no way. You talking about 5%, and then she said Liz Cheney. I can't get over that. I can't get
You out.
Oh my
When
God.
do they push you out?
Largely when you disagree with Trump.
Exactly.
So listen,
This
let
is
me
the
address
thing that it's the unspoken thing that you're never saying, that ultimately it's all hunky-dory. Elon can tweet back at you. Vivek can listen to you. But if you defy Donald Trump, the God Emperor, you're kicked out of the castle. And no one's defending Liz Cheney. Screw both their castle and the other castle. But Liz Cheney voted with Donald Trump 98% of the time. And just the 1% when she was like, hey, you know what? You can't do a coup on this country. And Adam Kissinger, and they were gone. So miss me with this 5% BS, yo.
So, all right, Grant, a whole bunch of things.
I don't think she
So,
doesn't
right,
know what
that's
5% means.
definitely
Let's
how
put it that
the
way.
Turning Point started. Daily Wire certainly started that way. I don't know what their current funding is, but they seem to have a lot more funding than any of us do.
Liz Cheney.
So you're right, and I have said that in the past, and I probably should have put that in there in that particular appearance, and I will mention that, and that'll really grate on their nerves. But I've got no problems telling their audience, and I tell them all the time, no, you guys have way more money, and they're always shocked by that. And I'm like, because they're swimming in money and don't realize how much we're starving out here on the left, right?
Sure.
So and I talked on Tim Pool's show about that, etc. Now, when it comes to the 5%, 95%, yeah, I hear you. So it's when you disagree with Trump, especially in the past, especially in the first term, etc., you're a goner, right?
This is true.
But they are pushing back even on Trump now. So, and again, on things that we don't agree with, but on COVID, for example, they thought that Trump did too much COVID protections, etc. And there was
that's true.
And this is really encouraging. When I talk about Team Miriam, Marco Rubio, Elise Stefanik, Mike Huckabee, and Mike Walz. So those are the four that put in by the neocons put in by Miriam Adelson. In the old days, what I would have gotten, Franny, is, no way, they're the greatest. They're not neocons. You're a liar. Trump picked them. Trump's the best. Now what I'm getting from the right-wing host, which is amazing, and let alone the base, they're all saying, yeah, I hear you. We got concerns about them. We got concerns, okay? So that's the thing I never heard before. So that is a change. Now, in terms of the concept that I'm referring to, the 5%, 95%, but Franny, we're in the middle of that right now. This is the perfect example. So I started the largest progressive network. I've given dozens of progressives opportunities they didn't have before. I started Just Democrats, et cetera, et cetera. The minute I disagree, like 5% on trans issues or crime, everybody's like right wing, fascist, right wing.
That is true. That is true.
Almost every show. So you telling me that you don't push?
She'll never see it.
Pushing out the movement overall, at least an online left movement, seems to be trying to push out the one network that has helped progressives more than any other network.
It's so true.
Not in dispute. But
what do Republicans always say, that liberals and progressives always eat their own? I don't think it's ever been worse than it is right now. Like the left, whatever Franny is, Francesca, whatever part of the left that she is, like, this is insane. Like, this is them. They're the ones that they're just closed-minded. They don't listen to anything. You know, like, you can say it a million times. Like, just look at her face. She's just this is just an insufferable person. Like, I guarantee you, she thinks she's a good person. She's not. Like, nothing about it. Like, that, being closed-minded, especially to somebody who probably gave you a job. Somebody gave you a job who, as he describes, has been running this large progressive network for years. And you're telling, it's not like she's like she's going against her hierarchy, going against her manager, blah, blah, blah. He's lost the plot. No, you've lost the plot. You've lost the plot a long time ago. Like, how can you deny what he is saying? Everyone has been saying this. I have been saying the exact same thing for years, bro. Like, this is crazy, man.
My God, we have 5% disagreement. So tear it down. This is destructive.
Aren't these the same? These are the same people, and I've addressed this on other videos as well, who canceled conservative voices and Republicans on all social media platforms. Like, they did this. And in the minute, no, Elon shouldn't be doing this, or any person on the right should be doing this. The minute Elon buys Twitter, they leave. they leave, or they complain and say, oh my God, our voices aren't as strong anymore. It's like, bro, you were doing the same thing to them. like a few years ago. Like, why are you being a hypocrite? Y'all did this. Y'all did. God.
The extreme left that I honestly,
Blue MAGA.
That portion, that kind of destructive attitude is poison.
Yep.
It's not just poison to us, it's poison to our chances of winning.
Yeah.
Because we keep pushing people out, we keep pushing people out, and then all of a sudden we lost all the swing states and we lost the popular vote. I'm trying to get our side to wake up, snap out of our hypnosis of we hate, and we hate the right wing, and they're all white supremacists, and they're all racist, and they're all sexist, and we hate.
Never gonna win.
Never go in the room with them. We hate.
Yep.
What the hell happened to us? And no
Joy
one's allowed to
Reid,
disagree. We're
The
now
View.
authoritarian.
Yep.
No.
So, wait, Cenk, can I just clarify?
I will never allow the left to be authoritarian, and this idea of just hating.
No matter what you think about Cenk, he's right. He is right. Just admit he's right.
The other side is poison.
You know what's so funny about you calling the left authoritarian is that you think the left has power. Like, I love that you
total nonsense.
we are on the
In
precipice
one ear,
of real
out the other.
authoritarianism and real fascism, and you believe that the online left are the authoritarians. I mean, I don't know how to tell you.
It's not even just the online
you sound
left.
like Bill Maher and Nancy Pelosi.
Thank you. It's not just the online left. All right, I'm gonna do a little bit more of this, but maybe I'll react to the full video with my buddy at a later date. But Francesca, good Lord, like this.
He had a kid, and it came out, Cenk Uygur. And let me just ask you though. Let me just ask. I don't know how to tell you. You sound like Bill Maher and Nancy Pelosi had a kid, and it came out, Cenk Uygur. And let me just ask you though. Let me just ask you. So what shows on the left do you like that aren't on the TYT network?
Yeah, so I said, look, there's a lot of good popular
just
shows on the
pretentious.
left that I like, and it's because there are. So Breaking Point's a good show. Kyle Kalinski's Secular Talk is a good show.
I disagree. I have reacted to Breaking Point, but I just don't like Kyle. Kyle, he comes off insufferable to me as well, and he has this weird thing with Joe Rogan. Like, I just don't. I'm not a Kyle fan. My buddy always sends me videos about freaking Kyle, man. Like, I just don't. I don't know. That's just me.
He was against me going on MAGA. I haven't seen his video, but Kyle's been against us a couple of times. But I largely didn't hold a grudge on that.
But wait, let me just stop you. First of all, you had a great conversation with Crystal Ball. I think she made some really good points to you I think it was on Breaking Points. Kyle has, I think, been very disturbed, especially by your appearance with Charlie Kirk. But what you just said there, they've been against us. I really want to just dig into this idea that, because you're a fighter, man. That's cool. That's great. But like, you really do have a very I almost want to call it Bush-like, Cheney-like, you're with us or against us attitude.
100% wrong.
I mean, like, you just literally.
This was hurt. I'm in physical pain listening to this. Like this. It's so stupid. This is projection. He just said what she's doing. They all do it, and now I'm 25 minutes into this. She's saying that he's like, if you're not with us, you're against us. What the fuck? Okay.
I love that you're proving my point.
Oh my
But when I say this,
what is happening?
You sound like people are either against you, but if they criticize
this is
you,
mental illness.
they are not. And yet, here you are, Cenk, telling the entire right wing that all you want to do is break bread with them, that you want to debate with them, but afterward you want to go have a beer.
Yes, I do.
You want to have a beer with people who want to put people in mass deportation camps. They want to deport.
You think we're going to get put in camps? You sound. All right. Anyway.
You think I sound crazy? They're starting with Chinese people. That's my fucking family, dog. Like, what are you talking about?
That's such an excuse.
It's my family, dog.
No, they're going to start with Muslims. They're going to start with my people. Okay?
Sure.
It all. So stop hiding behind vulnerable communities.
I'm hiding behind vulnerable communities.
Yes, you are. You're using them as human
standing
shields.
in front of vulnerable communities, James.
No,
what are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm in front of vulnerable communities. I'm the most endangered, Franny.
By tweeting at Elon Musk? Please, don't help me. Come on, James. This is so sad. That's so sad.
Let's
take it down. Let's simmer down. No. Simmer down.
Let's simmer down.
I'm asking. Let me just ask you. Let me just ask you real honest.
Gaslight and then simmer down. Like, Franny, I'm calling her Franny now. Francesca, you looking like a clown. Like, this is ridiculous,
But I
man.
need to
Honest to
respond
God.
Can I respond
no,
to
no,
that?
Yeah.
No, I want to.
She just yapped and gaslit him and said a bunch of nonsense, and then he doesn't get a chance to respond. What is this?
Ask you this one
No, of
question.
course not.
Oh, God.
Let's talk about you going on these shows. Just simmer down. Let me ask you one question. Imagine if Kamala Harris had won.
Imagine Jane telling her to simmer down.
Okay, she wins.
Good
She wins
Lord,
the
bro.
popular vote. She wins obviously the Electoral College. Incredible, first female president, blah, 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 all this stuff. And Tucker Carlson started making all these rounds on like really like progressive leftist shows, went on Kyle's show, went on my show. I'm like, who the hell? Started reaching out and wanting to talk and wanting to come to agreement on things. What would that look like to you?
Okay.
Yeah, it would look like Tucker was trying to reach out. Tucker's about it.
They don't. I'm sorry. Yeah. Do they? What world is this that they live in? Do they honestly think that if that happened, he's just like, okay, he's either grifting because there's no way, bro. There's just no way you're not allowed in my studio. Where do these people exist? Like, there's no way she believes this. But I'm looking at her eyes. She might actually believe this. Like, this is crazy.
I would be surprised.
Oh God, bro.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
What would it look
Yeah.
like?
I wouldn't.
What did she think he was gonna say?
What do I think that Tucker would be selling out? No, there's no chance.
No. Well,
What is she suggesting?
It's not about selling out.
I'm gonna let it finish, but that's exactly what she was alluding to. Everyone knows that's what she was alluding to. Let's see how she backtracks. Let me just.
What would it just seem like?
He
Hey
told
man,
you.
we can agree. Yeah, you know what? I did say that Kamala Harris just seemed like.
Yeah.
Hey man, we can agree. Yeah, you know what? I did say that Kamala Harris was a
Oh,
DEI hire and she's basically a communist. But now I just feel like I've antagonized you and I'm here to like break bread and let's talk and let's get stuff done. What would that look like to you?
It would look surprising, but I wouldn't care. I'd find it interesting. Why? What does it look
She
like
is not an adult. Like, this is insane.
To me, if Tucker Carlson did that, I'd be like, oh, we fucking won. We won
Okay.
like
What?
crazy.
Okay.
We won so resoundingly. He's doing an apology tour because 3 ghosts visited him in the middle of the night and he's completely changed his tune because he wants to throw down with the winners.
I'm almost through this segment. I'm trying to get through this last portion here, but open the asylums. That's all I'm gonna say. Open the asylums. Yeah, we need to open the schools too, but I honestly think just this is based off of social media and a lot of like left-wing politics. Like, first time I've even seen this show, right? I've seen Francesca before. I know of her from my time of watching TYT early on. You know, I've seen her, like I said before, I saw her on Piers Morgan, but I was like, is she trolling, gaslighting? What's going on? Open the asylums. I'm seeing the signs. That's all I'm gonna say.
And I saw in that moment, you want me to play it for you? When Charlie Kirk goes, "We're glad Cenk's here, everybody," and that was the feeling that I think a lot of right wingers have when they look at you, Cenk, where they're like, "Damn, yo, we crushed so hard.
Who cares?
Even this guy is turning now."
Yeah, except I'm not turning. I've said it 2,000
Who cares
times.
what they think?
I'm just saying what it would look like. I'm just saying what it would look.
Keep saying it like it's true.
Yes,
when it isn't remotely true. But
this
okay,
one
let
is.
me
Oh
address it.
God. Who cares?
Okay, number one, you're empirically wrong because guess what's happening? Matt Gaetz has reached out to us, Tucker Carlson, to come on our shows, and so it's your exact analogy, okay? Patrick Bet-David, et cetera, and they won. They're still trying to come on the Young Turks. Why? Because they're trying to have a conversation, not because they want to do an apology tour. They think they are ascendant, but nevertheless, they want to talk to the left.
How in the world can she push back on that? Because that goes directly against what she just said. They won, and they want to go on his show. That goes directly against the nonsense that she just said.
You had to make it's because they think that
your version of the left says no way. We never talk to the other side.
Yeah.
But we're not authoritarian.
It's true.
Jake, that's not true.
It is true.
You're not allowed to disagree 1%, but we're not authoritarian. We have no power, so we're not authoritarian.
Yeah.
So that's not how it works, Franny. And the establishment Democrats are also authoritarian. So what do they say? You must agree with Kamala Harris, otherwise that's it. You're a heretic and you're being driven out from the party. You know that. The establishment Democrats have done that to us for the last 20 years. Don't tell me that there's no power on the left. There's tons of power on the left. And when the swarm comes, the left-wing swarm, oh, you'd like to be called a woman. You're racist, fascist, transphobe. What? I'm not authoritarian. No, that's an authoritarian mindset.
So true.
You don't have
I just gotta
have
laugh.
an authoritarian mindset.
Yeah.
There's different versions of power. There's the shunning power. There's social media power. There's mainstream media power. There's political power. There's all sorts of different power. So look, guys, the left. First of all,
there's also just money and actual power.
It gets back to the we. So you ask me politically, who do I represent? I represent the great majority of left-wing voters. The great majority of left-wing voters are not pro-establishment. They get tricked by mainstream media into voting in that direction. It drives me absolutely nuts. But when you ask them about policies, they agree with us completely on policies, right? And the great majority of left-wing voters are not far left. They think
I agree.
should be called a woman. And I'm not saying that in some dismissive way. I'm in favor of trans rights.
Oh, God.
If you want to be called a birthing person, we love it. We got no problem with you be called a birthing person.
Insufferable.
But when you say no, we call everyone a birthing person. America hates it. Left-wing voters hate it. When
I just want to say
there's no crime, left-wing voters hate it.
Yep.
So I'm standing up for the overwhelming majority
He's
of
right.
Democratic voters and left-wing voters.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
Authoritarian sides of the left saying you're not allowed to disagree with the establishment. You're not allowed to disagree with the extreme left. No, I am allowed. I am allowed. And,
hang on. Wait, please. I don't want to lose the forest for the trees here, truly. And I hear what you're saying. I know it can feel online like a circular firing squad. I understand.
Billion%. It happens every time.
I know it does. So I come from movement backgrounds, right? I've been in many spaces since the global justice movement in the early 2000s, then the anti-Iraq war movement. I've been in a lot of organizing spaces. I have been in more organizing spaces, far left spaces, than I have in campaigns, political campaigns, for example. So I know those spaces very well. I know we can often over-police one another. I know we can tear each other's throats out. I absolutely concede that. I do agree with that.
But she just spent 32 minutes doing it.
Sad to say, that's not the biggest fish we have to fry.
In
fact, we're in, again, a moment just before Project 2025.
Right. Okay. I can't watch anymore. There's nothing else left to be said here. This was a disaster. This was an absolute disaster. How could anyone in their right mind not listen to those 32 minutes or 33 minutes, whatever it was, and disagree with what Cenk was saying? Anyone who's been alive and in this political sphere in the last 10 years know what he's saying is true. Anyone who just witnessed the last election knows what he's saying is true, especially if they're a left-wing person. Unless they're just like in one of these weird, like Hassan, like echo chambers where all they hear is people agreeing with them and chirping in the ear and anything. My favorite streamer and all this nonsense. It's BS. It's absolute BS. It's the far left, blue MAGA. It's the far right, MAGA. Like everyone, Cenk is right. The vast majority of progressives, they agree with him. They agree. It's her. It's the people like Francesca who are just loud. They're loud. They're insufferable. They're obnoxious. They're pretentious. They put themselves on these pedestals and they go on social media and they just yell at everybody. And if you disagree with them, they try to cancel you. This is literally the same thing the Republicans have been saying for 10 years. It's true. It's absolutely true. Horrible video. Horrible video. I never want to watch it again. I might actually react to the whole thing with my buddy at a later date, but I don't know. But good Lord, Francesca, I thought you were trolling on Piers Morgan, but this is actually who you are. Open the asylums. I'm turning the video off. I hate it.